Another entrepreneur making waves in the United States is Weidman Powers. Now, she's the co-founder and former CEO of Code 2040, a nonprofit whose mission is to ensure the full representation and leadership of Black and Latinx people in the innovation economy. Now, Karina sat down with Powers at the recent Forbes Women's Summit to discuss how she and Code 2040 plan to do just that.
Really what we're looking to do is activate and mobilize the largest community of Black and Latinx technologists around creating racial equity in tech. Code 2040 gets its name from the year 2040, the start of the decade when people of color will be the majority in the US. And if we have an economy at that point that is not inclusive of people from all backgrounds, then the whole country is going to be in trouble. So there's a lot at stake.
On a practical level, how do you go about accomplishing that goal?
So the first thing we set out to do really when we started the organization in 2012 was to just prove people wrong who were saying that the talent didn't exist. Really the narrative at the time was, if there were talented people of color, if there were talented women, we'd love to hire them, but they're just not out there, it's a pipeline problem. And at Code 2040 we said, no, it's actually a network issue. It's the fact that the talent is over here, the opportunity is here, and these networks are not connected. So we built the Code 2040 Fellows Program as a solution to connect those two networks. So we run a summer accelerator for Black and Latinx technologists who are in their college careers getting ready to transition into the workforce. Those students intern at top tech companies. They get return offers at a rate twice as high as the industry average, so companies love them. And really over the past 6 years, we've proved that the issue is not that the talent isn't out there, it's not a pipeline problem. The issue is that actually networks are disconnected, and then systems that companies use to recruit and hire and vet and assess talent have bias baked into them. And so that's really the next big challenge.
What are some of the biases you're referring to?
So one big thing that we saw all the time was companies would have this interview process that had certain things that were sort of standardized. Can you answer this question? Can you solve this problem? And then they'd have this nebulous sort of culture fit piece, which was basically, does the interviewer like you? And sort of the old proxy for that is, would you like to have a beer with this person or be stuck on an airplane with them? And really that has nothing to do with whether this person can do their job. And actually diverse teams outperform homogenous teams, but there's tension and conflict as part of that. That's part of what makes them more productive.
As you've mentioned, there have been numerous studies that have shown that a more diverse workforce leads to a more successful company. Where do you think we are in the evolution, though, of making companies more inclusive?
I think one of the challenges with the way most companies approach this idea of creating more diverse workforce is that they do it as an add-on. So they've got their recruiting team and then they hire a diversity recruiting person. They've got HR and then they've got a little pocket of folks focused on diverse employees. And actually what you really need to do is examine the fundamental systems that your company is using to make decisions. So your hiring practices overall, where you recruit, do you accept and prioritize referrals, how talent is vetted, the way that projects are assigned, how teams are assessed, how teams are composed. All of those fundamental things that are just how you run your company need to be designed with inclusion in mind. You can't kind of tack it on at the end.
You served as a senior policy advisor to the U.S. Chief Technology Officer Megan Smith in the Obama White House's Office of Science and Technology Policy. We now have a new administration. Have you noticed any change when it comes to the White House's policies regarding diversity and technology?
President Obama prioritized diversity and inclusion in the tech sector. He saw the importance of actually ensuring that people of color, people from historically marginalized backgrounds were not just in the room but at the table making decisions about the future of this industry. And I think we've seen that just fall off the priority list in the new administration. I had an insider view in the Obama administration when I was there. I have no insider view now, but I can say that the dialogue and the conversation is just different than it was 2 years ago.
Given this, is there even more fire in your belly to get your goals accomplished?
It puts a bigger obligation on the companies themselves to actually prioritize these issues when regulation is not forthcoming to make it happen.